जिनसे हम आज बात करेंगे कैरियर के ऊपर, साइकोलॉजी के ऊपर, और जो मैम ने कॉर्पोरेट वर्ल्ड जो छोड़ा उसके बाद मैम की लाइफ में जो ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन जो हुआ, या मैम का जो अपना एक्सपीरियंस है, ब्रेक फ्री जिसको नाम दिया मैम ने, तो वो क्या चीज़ है, कैसे मैम ने और भी लोगों की लाइफ में जो बदलाव देखे या किए, वो आज मैम से हम जानेंगे। मैम थैंक यू। वेलकम मैम आपका।
थैंक यू फॉर हैविंग मी।
मैम थोड़ा सा बताएं कि एक कॉर्पोरेट जॉब के बाद जो आपने कैरियर स्विच किया, तो वो कैसे और क्यों किया, एक चीज़ वाई?
आई थिंक करियर स्विच जो है इट्स अ वेरी ब्रॉड टर्म. I feel switching or transitioning or getting from one place to another place professionally or in any other way, it's a very long journey. Mentally, emotionally, professionally, you keep growing as a person, and you realize that if you're surviving or you're existing somewhere, and that comes very naturally to you. Sometimes it comes in a moment, but sometimes it takes a lot of moments to reach there. I don't think मेरा transition instant था. Definitely corporate was the last thing which I was doing, being in the corporate world, and I can call it my last trigger to actually step out. But it took me time. I was in the profession for about 10 years, and I was not happy for the entire span, but it still took me time. So I would say it was a mix of a lot of realities, and if I can put it in one word, a lot of failures, which I was accepting and not accepting, and with time it took me some 10 years to structure, or to, I would say, walk down that transition.
Can you tell me about your failures or something?
Definitely. I think now when I look back, I see them very clearly. When they were happening, I couldn't see them very clearly for sure. So I think the first trigger which I have was in 2017. That was right after 1 year of my practice, when I was diagnosed with clinical depression. And my first reaction was a shock to that back then. But much before that, I could very clearly see myself very exhausted, or very, I would say, tired or burnt out or disinterested in my profession. I definitely didn't know where it was coming from, because I was a very hard-working law student. I was very impulsive and excited, and I would say over-enthusiastic as a first-generation law student to make up my mark in the industry and to be there. And in my head, consciously at that point, everything was making sense.
How you heal yourself?
So I don't think I took it very seriously in 2017, because there is a stigma around mental health. And when you are in that situation, you don't even know how socially controlled you are. You don't even know how much the impact of the society and its beauty standards is on you. So I could see that there is certain kind of acceptance in my family, and there is certain kind of discomfort also, which discouraged me to very properly take the treatment, or go for talk therapies to psychologists, or keep taking the medicines from psychiatrists. And I was having a hard time, because you literally see hell.
So what about your friend circle or something, your parent at that time?
Yes, of course. I think my parents have been very mainstream and supportive when it comes to these issues. So there was definitely a certain kind of acknowledgement. But there definitely was a lot of restraint regarding somebody not doing anything professionally, being a lawyer, or somebody just giving up and just abandoning herself completely. And not left for any good on daily basis when it comes to the work life, or when it comes to your profession. So I would, to answer your question, say that it was not too much instant, the healing, and till it came back again in 2022, when I actually started healing, and I actually started the journey of what it takes to heal.
What are the challenges there? I mean, when you switch your job, and after you are going through in a healing, so some challenges are there? Definitely.
I think even if your mental health has not taken a toll, and you're in any case naturally switching a job, there are a lot of challenges which you face individually, like that noise in your head all the time. for professional freedom, consistency. What about my professional security? What about my financial security? What about my financial freedom? And much more than that, I feel that in our society, I don't want to generalize this, but generally what I've seen around, in my life at least, there is a lot of identity associated to your professional title.
Yes, yes.
Or to your job. I mean, just to give you a very small layman example, if you meet a stranger, just 30 seconds or 1 minute down the line, you're asking them, okay, aap karte kya ho?
Yes.
What do you do? So there's a lot of build-up, lot of mounting regarding that, which is very naturally ingrained in our heads right from our student life. So being a student of 5th standard or 10th standard or 12th standard, much more than being associated with what we want to do, we are associated with what it should be done.
Yeah, with
Ideally क्या होना चाहिए?
tags,
That
yes.
tag.
Yeah.
That ideally कैसे होना चाहिए? And that's how we externally get driven also. And we get inspired or influenced, I would say also, that, okay, ideally it should be a job. A job is a big thing, which we have. So definitely unlearning that, unconditioning that, stepping out of that and outgrowing it into something which you belong to is a very big challenge. It's a very big journey in which mentally, emotionally, in so many ways, you literally have to recondition yourself that away from it not being a stigma or it not being unconventional, to do something which makes you feel happy.
So how do you know this is my path?
Wow, that's a good one. I don't think on day one I was at all clear about what my path is, and I just kept struggling for years, exploring myself and experimenting in different things, trying to know.
Can you tell me about your experiments? What did you think you experiment?
Yes, I think experiments change with phases in time.
Yes.
Initially for me it was to feel what it looks like to be a first generation professional, and with that ticked off, I realized that, okay, I am a professional but I'm not happy in this profession, which again made me keep trying and keep going, because you want financial freedom to know what your path is, you want professional security to know what your path is. So I think the idea is to keep going. The idea is to keep making sense in the chaos, and I think to start acknowledging that I don't know what I want to do. That is one thing which I've seen when I work on people, is a very big question which they feel too fearful or too much in doubt or too much in insecurity to ask alone in the room also. So to answer your question, what made me keep going is that I kept telling myself that, okay, this is not what I like. It is a plan B, but there is some plan A which I will figure out. I have no idea what that plan A is. And when you have no idea, you have so many ideas in your head that you're influenced by different things.
Yes.
You want different things. You feel that, okay, I'm already in a mainstream profession, but I still want to be somebody else. And that keeps coming and keeps haunting you. But the idea is to put that fear aside and keep telling yourself, I don't know what I want to do. Because that's the first step, I feel.
How much your solo traveling, how much it's helped you?
Yeah, I think, thanks for asking me that. In 2017, I could see myself in depression, and I could also see myself only being inclined towards solo traveling. And that's where first time Breakfree came into picture. It came in complete darkness, I would say. It came in a very, very hollow and a very negative space in which I was. And suddenly, just like a ray of light, it came out. And I didn't even had any idea that how holistic it is in my head when it comes to Breakfree. So it was just Breakfree traveling. I identified that there's something which feels right when I'm traveling solo. And later I realized that that's a lot of love for nature. And much later I realized that it has increased so much of my trust in the universe, that I'm a part of something which belongs just to me. And I really get that time in which I can be with myself while I'm traveling solo.
So how was your experience in some places, or inner peace, or how was your experience?
Definitely. I think initially the state of mind coming from where I was that I was just escaping from my current workspace, my current daily life, and my current food cycle and sleep cycle. So initially it was just escaping to a place. But while I was going as far as I could in parts of India, North India and South India, later outside India also, I could just feel that it's a very enchanting experience in a way that if I personally share it with you, I liked myself while I was traveling solo. And that tells you something about what you don't do when you are in your regular life. And later I realized that there's so much lack of self-love. But when I'm traveling solo, I like being I like feeling good about myself. I like myself when I'm traveling solo. I didn't know how big a feeling this is back then. But eventually when I started working on my self-growth journey in different aspects, I realized that why it has been such a special and big part of my life, because that really sprouted the whole break-free aspect in me.
Yeah, can you tell me what is self-love? Because we only listen self-love करना चाहिए, self-love होता है. So what is self-love?
Yeah, see, love is a very, very well-spoken, vast, broad term, and it's something which is very each to its own. But to add a sense of self to it is something which brings you to a relationship with yourself. And a relationship is not always love. But again, when we bracket it as self-love, it's about, I feel, how connected you are to yourself. How much can you be with yourself, and how much more healthier can you make that relationship with yourself? We see a lot of content, a lot of quotes and posts around. It's all about what books you read, or what people you meet, or how you talk to yourself. That care, that wisdom, that respect, that dignity, that esteem, that worth which you have for self is, I think, a whole amalgamation of self-love, or that sense of self which you can achieve.
Can I know my clarity in life through Breakfree?
Breakfree as a concept, or Breakfree?
As a concept.
Okay. See, Breakfree is, if I talk about what made me start Breakfree, it is to actually not just survive, but actually exist, which is already a lot of clarity which you want. When you come to existence, it is not just the clarity, it is the clarity of purpose, the clarity of life, the clarity of who you are, who you want to be, the whole journey which actually belongs to you.
Okay.
And it's a very self-correcting, self-clarifying journey.
Okay.
When you start being with yourself and not where you are. So that whole bridge from where you are and where you want to be, where you're trying to survive and where you want to exist.
So what are the steps in this? Means how can I know? So this much of step. This is step one. This is step two. After that, I will reach there.
Yeah, that's a good one. You can actually know that by knowing yourself, because a journey to break free from where you are to where you want to be is exclusively, completely, entirely your journey, unconditionally, unapologetically. So only you know where you want to be, and only you know where you are. So that's why you need to know yourself more to actually have a reality of both. And the steps are something which comes when you start this journey.
So like you, guides are there. So they can guide people to psychologically or something, I don't know, whether this is my pattern of thinking or my parenting or environment. So they will guide. So this is the correct way or something like this. This is the correction?
Absolutely. See, to give you a direction of how to start,
yes,
or where to start, very unconditionally, without making much effort, very naturally, there are a lot of triggers which come in our life. Sometimes in our love life, sometimes in our work life, sometimes in our relationship with parents, sometimes with friends, which constantly bother us. Those triggers are actually that light, or that space which is created in the dark room to actually break free. So as I told you that, the biggest part of my journey of inspiration is my failures. Failures are initially triggers only, something which bothers you. So when somebody comes to me, or when somebody comes to anybody who is into healing or into coaching, they come with that triggers. So the first step, or my first advice to anybody, is to identify those triggers much before reaching it to anybody else.
Okay.
Because they are your triggers. only and only you can talk to yourself, or you can accept or acknowledge them to actually seek out for help.
If somebody finds their trigger, then what the next step?
Definitely, it depends upon the degree.
Okay.
Sometimes you want to seek help, sometimes you don't want to seek help and you're stubborn around that. But if you are, then there's a next trigger which comes to you. So it totally depends upon your journey, that at what trigger you are ready to accept that I don't want this in my life. I don't want to live like this.
Yeah, sometimes in Corona there's lots of people lost their job.
Yes.
In this youth age, I say breakdown means love, है ना? So in 80s 90s there are fear of means my child is with me or not, something like this. So they are trigger, they are different level of trigger. So means if means job fear is there or love life is there, so how can they person heal themselves or something like this?
Definitely. I think the journey to healing comes with a very big sense of acknowledgement and acceptance about, do you want to change this? Like somebody just talking in front of themselves in a mirror or talking alone in the room that I don't want this in my life. So to heal, the first step is to identify the wound. अगर आप कहीं रास्ते पे चल रहे हो और आप गिर गए और आपको पता ही नहीं है कि चोट कहाँ लगी है, तो आप दवाई कहाँ लगाओगे?
Yes.
और आप डॉक्टर के पास जाओगे तो वो शायद ढूंढ लेगा, लेकिन डॉक्टर के पास जाने से पहले यू हैव टू एक्सेप्ट दैट इट्स हर्टिंग समवेयर. कहीं पे दर्द हो रही है. I don't know where the wound is, but there is some wound. So a lot of times we don't try to change that. A lot of times we are so resistant or we are stubborn because of our own patterns and the way of life that we are used to that pain. We are used to that trauma. We are used to that sadness or whatever that trigger is and its impact is. We are responding to it now. Like something happened with me and now I am in a state which I don't like to be in, but I am in that. So the first step to healing is to actually accept that it's hurting and I can fix this pain. Later a doctor, a coach, a therapist, a friend, any person comes into picture. First you act to accept that it's hurting and I don't want this pain. So the second thing some people don't do because there is a lot of fear of change.
Yes.
There's a lot of fear of abandonment because you're used to it. So if somebody is in a toxic workplace or if somebody is suffering through some abuse in their relationship, sometimes you get so much conditioned to it, there's so much nurturing around it which you have, that you feel grounded and rooted there only. You start deserving that pain in your head. So you don't want to accept that there's a wound. अगर आप accept ही नहीं करोगे, आप डॉक्टर ढूंढ भी लेगा, वो दवाई भी लगा देगा, still you won't heal because you don't want to accept it.
Means any story you have, means you have any story, means you heal somebody and they will transform their life or something like this happens?
Definitely, I think